So I have been doing some thinking recently, and I gotta admit, I feel like there is a mild debate here with Need for Speed Shift 1 and Shift 2 and which game really is better. Now, the thing I gotta admit right off the bat here, guys, is, well, I was going back in playing Shift 1 again, then I immediately went to Shift 2, and you know what? I like both games, bro. I gotta admit that. I think both games are fun. They offer their own thing. And on top of that, I feel like they're really going to be a different experience, even though they are similar, but, different, same, but different type of thing. I would say a lot of players might end up jumping into something like Shift 1 and going, yo, this game is pretty dope. And the thing is, if you did end up enjoying Shift 1, you are going to enjoy Shift 2. But with that, there is going to be some different things with each game I did want to talk about, though. So, first things first, I'm going to admit right now, I don't know if I'm tripping out or anything like that, guys. I am going to have side-by-side things of Shift 1 and 2. That way you can also view this as well. The thing is, I'm going to admit right now, at least playing on the PlayStation 3. So I am going to be on the original PS3, obviously. It is a PS3 Slim to be exact, but either way, I'm not going to be on PC. But I do have to say, I think Shift 1 does look better than 2. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. I really do think Shift 1 does look better. Now, I'm not saying Shift 2 looks bad in any way because I do know the game came out after, but I do think the overall coloring of Shift 1 and 2, bro, I don't know what it is. I think it looks better. I'm being real on that. I do think the overall visuals look better. Like, farther away in Shift 2 looks a bit wonky. The outside of the tracks and stuff like that look a bit odd in some places. You can kind of see it, how it really doesn't look all that clear and stuff. And I feel like Shift 1 did a bit better of a job at this. The overall car design and stuff like that, I feel like is going to be fairly similar in both games. And I would say people are probably going to look at both and go, well, yeah, I kind of can agree with that. Do let me know your thoughts on that as well, guys. Which game do you guys think had better car models? This I'm really interested to see because I do know people are probably going to view Shift 1 and 2 and go, huh. Well, if you look at something like this car here, this one's probably going to look better than that one, or this one's going to look better than that one. Maybe this car has more sound. Who knows? I feel like a lot of those things can end up playing roles in them. Either way, though, I'm not saying Shift 2 is going to look bad in any way, but I gotta admit, I really do think Shift 1 is going to be a better looking game, at least from what I have noticed, and also playing on the PS3, because I do think that's going to be a different story, at least on the PC for that matter, because from what I did end up seeing, guys, apparently PC is going to look better on Shift. For some odd reason, I was looking at forums and stuff, and people were like, no, dude, I agree. I think Shift 2 does look worse than Shift 1 does, so I really am interested to see what y'all say in the comments below. The next thing I gotta admit, I think both games really do absolutely kill at is going to be the cockpit view. I am also going to try again to do like a side-by-side comparison on this, even though you can't really see both fully, with a half a screen, so I might show like a side-by-side and then end up showing you both games separated. But I really do feel like either way, though, I think they did a great job at the cockpit view in this game. Now, the reason why I do say this is Shift 1's going to be 2009, okay? Shift 2, I believe, came out in 2011, I think it was. So these games are obviously both going to be old for that matter. But I do gotta admit, though, driving in cockpit view in both Shift games really was going to be a dope experience. And I do feel like I'm probably going to go out on a limb here and say that Shift 2's overall cockpit experience is going to be better. Now, I would say people are going to be like, well, yeah, Blocked. What did you expect there, buddy? The thing is, we can all probably agree that the cockpit view in Shift 2 really is going to be very good. And a few reasons why I do say that is, for one, when you are driving, guys, you can tell that you can actually, like, turn the way your head looks when going into a corner, which I thought was very cool. I do not know of another game currently that does it or has like the immersion of the cockpit view in Shift 2. I am going to admit that and say I really do think Shift 2's cockpit view is absolutely amazing, and I feel like a lot of people are probably going to play that and go, yo, this is crazy, dude. The game's from 2011, and I was seeing even people were like, dude, I don't think there was another racing game like Sim type. We can all agree this is on the sim side, right? It obviously isn't like Gran Turismo, but it's kind of track focused. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of along the side of Sims. But either way, I do feel like people are probably going to look at this and go, no, the cockpit view in this game is great. And I was noticing people talking about this in the forums going, man, the cockpit view in Shift 2, why can't newer games replicate this or try to do something like the way they did end up doing? The helmet cam footage in this, which you guys are going to see in the background, really does look so dang great. Like, you see the corner of your helmet and stuff. the car is going to like blur up and stuff, and he's going to like lean into the corner and turn. It really looks so dang great, and I think they absolutely nailed it. And the other part I really did like a lot is the fact that when you are driving really fast, it would get super blurry and stuff like that, and you'd probably look at your dashboard, you can barely see it and stuff, or you'd probably look farther. Even in third person mode, I noticed in Shift 1 as well, you'd notice like, yo, you are going quick, and you're also going to notice that, which is going to come down to the sense of speed feeling. Guys, I do know for a fact right now, a lot of people are also still, even to this day, I have noticed, really wishing other racing games, specifically the newer ones like even Gran Turismo and stuff, would end up having better sense of speed to them. Do let me know your thoughts on this. I feel like Shift 1 and 2, even to this day for like racing games, I really think they did an amazing job at it, and I feel like having this type of sense of speed, at least in the newer racing games, I really do feel like would feel absolutely amazing. Now, some of the other racing games I do feel like that did very well. Now, people are probably going to laugh at me on this one, but Test Drive obviously has not done a lot of things right at all, man, but one thing it really did do a great job at is going to be the sense of speed when you are going faster. I feel like Test Drive really did a great job at it. Now, the other game I would say from playing it a bit, I do feel like Forza Horizon 5 did decent at the sense of speed, and we're also then going to have Motorfest, which I wish they would update that a bit because it would feel faster, which I would also say would most likely make the game feel better as well. Now, I have been playing a good amount of Gran Turismo and stuff like that as well, guys, and I gotta admit, I wish they'd update the sense of speed in Gran Turismo 7 a bit. Now, a lot of people could argue with that, but I've also seen a lot of people go, no, 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 I think that would be great, and I really think the game would end up benefiting from that because I think more people would be like, yo, it's fun going faster and stuff like that, and when you are going to be in a racing game, the adrenaline of going fast and stuff probably does add on to it, especially in something like a racing sim or like a simcade style like Shift 1 and 2, I really feel like this game absolutely nailed the overall sense of speed when you are going quicker. Like even doing 160 miles an hour, like you guys will see me in the background in the Dodge Viper. When you are going fast, even doing 160, bro, you are absolutely zooming. You'll start seeing some stuff maybe blur out a bit and stuff like that. In cockpit view, everything's going to blur out. And it really does give you that mild immersion in the game. Now, I do understand that, yes, this game is not going to be a full-on sim, but there is going to be some dope features like this that really are making people probably go, yo, I wish we'd probably have some of this in the newer games. That would be absolutely amazing. One of the other things I did laugh at in Shift is probably going to be the overall crash cams and stuff like that, to where you hit something and the entire screen is going to completely blur out into basically nothing. And I did feel like that was pretty dope. Like if you are going quicker, you hit like another racer, it is then going to blur out and make you go, oh dang, I can't really see much now, which again is probably going to add on to that mild immersion there. And if you're playing on a wheel or something, it is probably going to make that experience even crazier. With that all being said, though, one of the other things I did genuinely like about each game is going to be down to some of the customization options. Like, for example, you can works convert a lot of the different cars, and that makes them absolutely crazy, bro. It's not only going to make them handle better, it makes them way faster, also puts them in a different class at times as well. And I do feel like the works conversion was going to be a really cool aspect. Like, you will have to upgrade parts of the vehicle and stuff like that, and then afterwards you can then buy the works conversion. And my goodness, one of my favorite cars in Shift 1 was easily going to be the Dodge Viper, man. Not even kidding. Absolutely insane. I would say it's probably going to be one of the craziest cars in the game. And also on top of that, the Murcielago, which works conversion, bro. Just absolutely crazy. I would say little things like that are going to add on to it. Like, it's not going to be the craziest upgrading or customization, but at least it's still going to be there, adds on to some of the vehicles. You can change liveries and all that stuff. So that's going to be another aspect I did enjoy about both Shift games. Is one going to be better than the other in that part? Well, to be honest, I feel like they're going to be similar in that department, and not all that much better, but kind of built off of Shift 1 into, with the overall works conversion and stuff like that as well. Now, there's also going to be something else I did want to discuss here quick, though. Now, this I would probably say is more of the fact maybe it's going to be preference on my end, but I gotta admit, I do think I like the racing and stuff in Shift more than I did in Shift 2. And the reason for that is just how the cars felt and stuff like that, the way it was when you are racing faster and experiencing different vehicles. I feel like for me, at least in Shift 1, I did like the way the cars felt. In Shift 2, it was a bit frustrating, like if you ran into another racer, you basically get stuck on them, then you can't get off or something like that. And I did notice sometimes the handling of the cars in Shift 2, like it just, I don't know, man. I feel like I did enjoy Shift 1 a bit more there. I would like to know your thoughts on that, guys. If you have played both Shift games, which one's handling did you prefer more and why? I'm curious. Now, I also want to admit I'm not saying Shift 2 is bad in any way with that. I kind of enjoyed the overall driving and feeling that Shift 1 game over the second. That is not going to say, though, I'm not going to jump back in and play Shift 2 because I definitely would still. Overall, though, guys, I am really curious to see what the comments on this are going to look like. Do let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Which Shift game did you guys prefer? Was it 1 or 2? I gotta admit, if either one of these games ever came out on PS5, I would jump all over them. Would they? Honestly, I really don't know because I think the newer racing games, wasn't it Project Cars was kind of their thing or something like that, and then obviously it's getting delisted, so probably not going to do very well there. But even with that, I'm still having a great time going back in and playing Shift 1 and 2. And one of the issues I guess you could probably argue with both of these games is the fact that they compete with Gran Turismo, which is honestly no small feat in itself either.